Hello, my name is Matt Schmidt. I am the principal at Pathways Future Center School, and I am going to take the next few minutes to guide you through some basic information on what our school has to offer and give you a chance to think about if this may be a good fit for you. So, at this point in time, most of you are probably looking for a different school setting or different option to try to complete high school. And as I think about what will help you as you try to make a move and to figure out what you need to do to graduate, there are two words that I think are super important: why and how. First off, I think every student needs their own why. Why do I want to graduate from high school? And it shouldn't hopefully just be to make somebody proud or because you know you're supposed to. Those are both valid reasons. However, you are going to find yourself much more successful and find yourself much more willing to complete the work if you have your own motivation. What is making you get through the obstacles, take care of the work to get your own diploma? Having your own powerful why is super important. Next up, how? How are you going to make that happen? Each of you has your own steps that you will need to take to make this successful. Maybe you have some habits you need to improve. Maybe you need to figure out what those steps need to be. Maybe it's figuring out a different work-life balance, but you should try to figure out how you're going to make that happen. So I encourage students when they come to school every day, when you walk in, think about why you're here and how are you going to make this happen to actually finish high school. We have a pretty straightforward mission here at Pathways. We provide a supportive learning environment that models a community college. As a blended learning campus, we use online classes combined with individual and group instruction. So let's start out with the basics. Who are we? We are an alternative education campus. We are a public high school. We are part of the Adams 12 5-star school district, and we are a school of choice, which means that you do have to apply to come to school. You will go through an interview process and figure out if this is the right fit for you to finish up your high school diploma. There are some basic requirements that you must have to start at Pathways. You must be 17 or older when your session begins. You must live in the Adams 12 5-star school boundaries, so that means you are slotted to go to one of our 5 comprehensive high schools. Those are 2 logistical pieces that you must have in place before you get started here. If you are planning to start school in August, that means you need to be 17 when that first session starts in August, and that applies to each hexter as we go through. This is an older campus. It is meant for students trying to finish up high school. We are not built for younger students at this time. The other thing that I think is super important is you should be wanting to come to school for yourself. This is your education. At 17, school is an option for you, and this needs to be your choice in time, not somebody else's. So when we go through the presentation on what Pathways is all about, I like to think about it as what makes us different from other places. So we'll look at 4 different categories. We'll talk about our learning models, the types of diplomas we have, and then our scheduling and setting that set us apart from a traditional high school. So the big one, and we've been this way for many years, Pathways is a blended learning environment. That means we use online classes with in-person support to achieve your educational goals. All classes at Pathways are online courses. You can access them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere you can get internet, and the expectation is that you will do so. We also, though, are a school. We have teachers, we have counselors, we have psychologists, administrators, support staff, all here to help you get to that finish line. At this point in time, we offer both this blended learning environment where you work on classes and come to school. We also offer a pure online option that I will talk about here shortly. Another thing that makes us definitely different is we have 2 types of diplomas at Pathways: a traditional high school diploma and a competency-based diploma. That traditional-based diploma is the same diploma you would be working on at any of our traditional comprehensive high schools. There are 23 credits required. We have all the same credit categories as every other school in the district. So for example, you need 3 years of math to graduate in Adams 12, and that means you need 3 years of math to graduate from Pathways. The difference becomes in how we break that out. We will schedule you for 1.5 credits, which is 3 classes every hexter. And with that, our standard schedule is built to get you 9 credits in a school year. The other thing that we offer to help you get caught up is we have an expanded work-based credit option. That is the opportunity to earn general elective credit through work, unpaid internships, or volunteer work. Pretty great way to get caught up on classes 4 credits is a lot of credit. It's more than a standard semester at a high school. For every 250 hours of work that you do, you get 1 general elective credit. And if you do an unpaid internship or volunteer work, it is half that. So 125 hours would get you that credit. You can earn up to a maximum of 4. So that is a way to earn over a semester's worth of credit on top of your standard schedule here at Pathways. The second type of diploma is the one that many people have not heard of. It is the competency-based diploma. This diploma was created for students who are older and much more credit deficient. So if you are getting older in school and very short on credits, this could be a great option for you. If you choose this path, the 23 credit system goes away, and you are now focused on completing 12 courses to graduate. Those 12 courses are broken down into 9 ACT WorkKeys classes, government and personal finance, as well as a graduation toolkit. All of these courses are meant to get you ready for the workforce. So I call this a workforce readiness diploma. You can use a competency-based diploma to get a job, mark that you have a high school diploma, community college, trade school, apprenticeships. All of those things are great options with a competency-based diploma. The places where it can be limiting, you cannot use a competency-based diploma to go directly into a 4-year college. You would start at a community college, and you typically cannot use it to go directly into the military. So why would you be thinking about this type of diploma? Mainly because you're getting older and close to school. You're not, or close to when you want to be finishing high school, but you're not really close to getting it done. The timeline can be much shorter. Typically, it takes 6 to 9 months to complete a competency-based diploma if you are working hard. And if you're a student who's much more focused on getting into the workforce or trade, this could be a great option for you. So you might be sitting there watching this thinking, how am I going to figure this out? Don't stress. That is one of the things we will do with you when you interview at Pathways. When you meet with an administrator, we'll go through a transcript review, look at what your potential graduation timelines would be with both diplomas. We'll discuss your next steps and really figure out what your individual plan will be for finishing high school. The next thing that makes us different from other schools is definitely our scheduling. Those hexters we keep talking about, those are 6-week grading periods. What we did was simply divide a semester into 3 equal parts. So semester 1 is divided into hexters 1 through 3. Hexter 2 is divided into hexters 4 through 6 to give you those 6 grading periods a year instead of 2. Having that short timeline can really be beneficial when you're trying to get caught up. A short timeline can also be helpful when you traditionally have struggled in school because it gives you less to focus on for a shorter period of time. The other thing that's different with our scheduling is a school day. Many of you have heard about this. We have shorter school days than a traditional school. That is because of working on your classes outside of the day. We have classes Monday through Thursday. Friday are no standard classes, but we do have office hours where our staff is available for students. Multiple schedule options, as you can see here. We have a morning schedule from 8 to 10:55, afternoon schedule 12:20 to 3:15, and our evening schedule goes 4 to 6:55. This is for competency-based students only. And then we have an online-only schedule. This is only an option for traditional diploma students. We do not offer an online program for competency-based diploma. It does not work. If you are interested in the online program, one of the things that will be super important is that every week you will have a mandatory Google Meet check-in with a staff member to help keep you on track. The online session is appropriate if you are a student who's a great self-starter. You are able to get yourself going and doing classes. You don't need a lot of extra help from a teacher. This could be an option for you. Most students that come to Pathways do find it's better for them to be in one of our in-person sessions in the morning and afternoon. But if you are that self-starter with strong skills, the online program may be a decent option. Our setting is different as well. Of course, we are a very small school. If you have not been here yet, you will notice it. So you will get the advantages of a small school setting. You can see our numbers here. They are much smaller, which means that you have class sizes that typically are much smaller than a traditional high school. You might have a class of 12 or 15 students on a standard day. This allows chances for people to get a lot of individual attention and get those individual questions answered. We call Pathways Community College Light. It's a much more mature learning environment. Everybody here is here for the same reason, to graduate from high school. And so we like to smile, we like to laugh. However, it is a get business done kind of place. I like to say we're a no drama zone here at Pathways. Students are here to finish classes and finish high school. With that, all of the standard Adams 12 5-star school rules and policies apply because we are a district school. Coming to school at Pathways, of course, involves some of the normal things like passing classes, completing assignments, Here are some items that I think will help you be successful at our school. Number one, if you're an in-building student, attendance is super important. If you're here, you're going to get the help from the staff. We've got all these adults here that want to help you be successful. That's what makes it happen here. If you're not here, we need to have a conversation to decide what is your goal. Do you truly want to go to high school, or should we look at other options? So attendance is super important. If you're an online student, attendance will be taken based on your progress in your courses every week, as well as attending your Google Meets. So make sure you're on point with those items. Communicating and advocating for what you need is also super important. We cannot read your minds. We want you to be successful, but you have to help us with that. If you're struggling with something, please let us know. If you have something coming up that affects your schedule, please let us know so we can be of assistance. And then, of course, working from home. You can't just come to school for 2 or 3 hours a day and graduate. It will not happen. You do need to work from home. There is no magic number. It kind of depends on what classes you have and how you do in those classes. But if you come to school, I always say if you work another 10 to 12 hours a week from home, you should be keeping on track. So if after hearing these words and watching these slides, you still think Pathways is a good next step for you, here's what you got to do. After watching this, fill out the Pathways application on our website. It's a Google form. Then you will be scheduled for an interview. A couple of things to be keeping in mind with your interview. We will call you. A Pathway staff member will call you to make an appointment. That makes it super important that on your application, you give us good phone numbers and make sure your voicemails are set up. Make sure we have good emails on those applications as well, so we have ways to contact you. We have a lot of students applying, and we're going to need to get in touch with you. We can't keep reaching out because you did not give us a good method of communication. Once that interview is scheduled, you will come here and interview with somebody here in person at Pathways. Please come prepared. Act like it's a job interview. Come professional. Be prepared to discuss your school experience and your future goals with us here at Pathways. Once you've been accepted, we will give you the details for registration. That really depends on where you went to school last, what time is when you went there, if it's recent or not. If you're an out-of-district student, you will need to complete online registration. We will get you instructions for that. Out-of-district students, here's another piece. So if you're coming, let's say, from Stanley Lake High School, we're going to need documents before you even interview. You're going to need to get your school transcript so we can have an intelligent conversation about credits. If you have a 504 or an IEP, any of those kind of documents we also need before you interview with us if you're an out-of-district student, so we can make sure we can fit your needs. So please make sure you have those documents. We will not interview you without them. So once you get registered, next step, almost ready to start school, but there is a mandatory new student orientation prior to each Hexter. We will post those dates on the website. Make sure you're paying attention to that. It will always be the day before that Hexter starts. In August, it's typically a Tuesday or a Wednesday for orientation. And then throughout the rest of the year, it is typically the Friday before that next Hexter starts. So orientation is mandatory for all students to attend before they start their sessions. So with that, that is the basic information about Pathways. I hope that gives you some good information as you're making choices about your education. If you choose to apply to Pathways, we look forward to meeting you here over the next few weeks. You'll meet with an administrator, and we will get you all set up, figuring out what that diploma path is, and hopefully moving you towards a high school graduation.